Welcome back to Mysterium After Dark, and right now we have an amazing treat. A legend in Filipino graphic novel and artwork. Some of you know him, but for those of you out there from the other side of the world, he is one of the creators of Trese, probably the closest thing to what I would consider the Vertigo comics in the Philippines. I am personally a great fan of this. Female occult investigator, thank you so much for doing that. It's my honor to welcome to Mysterium After Dark, Mr. Budjette Tan. So Tan, welcome to the show, sir.
Thanks, Robert.
So, Trese, before we go any further, thank you. Just thank you. So, let's get off the bat. What was the inspiration? Where did it come from?
Trese was my desire to do my own detective stories. I grew up loving TV shows like, and I don't know if you remember this, Carl Kolchak, the Night Stalker. It was like a late 1970s TV show, which they showed late at night on Channel 7. And he was a tabloid reporter who actually wore a hat similar to what you were wearing. And he had the biggest misfortune of having to report on things that people didn't believe in. So in his investigations, he would discover that there are vampires living on the high rises of New York. And there are werewolves living in the subway of New York. And every time he reported about it, no one believed him. The TV show Night Stalker is what inspired the creator of X-Files to create X-Files. And I was a big fan of X-Files.
Me too.
So, yeah. And they're coming back.
Oh, yeah, we're really happy with that one.
And they're coming back. So it was shows like that. And of course, I'm a comic book geek, and I love, I'm a big Batman fan. I think Batman can beat anyone.
All right.
And another Vertigo character, which is John Constantine.
Oh, yeah. Constantine forever.
So it was a mix of all of those things on wanting to tell a Pinoy version of that, I guess. And yeah, growing up in a household where, as a kid, my dad would tell me, it's bedtime, there's an aswang outside the window, you need to protect me. He didn't scare me that there's an aswang that's going to eat me. He said, you need to protect me. And it was my mom who told me, there's a moo inside this, inside our house. So it was like, growing up, it felt like the supernatural was such an everyday occurrence for me. My mom and, family friends would just talk about it so casually. I guess all of those stories needed a release, and it ended up becoming Trese.
Trese, okay. And I'm actually very fascinated because why a woman? I mean, why a female lead character? As in, like, some people told me that you originally had an idea for a male, but then you ended up going with a female. What was the reason behind that?
I guess it was because there were just too many typical hard-boiled, pulp noir detectives that, it's usually the tough guy that would solve the crime. And I realized, and I did, I had, as you said, I had 2 scripts. That I actually had Kadjo draw 1 page of Trese as a tough guy beating up an aswang. But it just felt typical. Just felt like it's been done to death. So I thought maybe it would be more interesting if it was a girl. If it was a tough, lady detective. And I thought, she would be no nonsense detective that would just want to solve the case. So I'm going to give her 2 sidekicks, not 1 sidekick, but 2 sidekicks.
Those 2.
Inspired by Robin, inspired by Kato from the Green Hornet. And I thought, she would send the 2 sidekicks, the Kambal, which is seen on this cover, to kick ass as far as a song is concerned, because she needs to solve the case. So it was more of what have we not seen before. And it sounded interesting at the time, and thankfully other readers found it interesting as well.
It's amazing. Because like before you actually came up with Trese, was there like a supernatural occurrence that inspired you to come up with Trese?
There was no one singular occurrence. But like I said, my mom would tell me stories about strange stuff that happened in our house. I followed the news reports on Ateneo Professor Tony Perez and his spirit questers. So I knew that Manila was just full of supernatural occurrences. But at the same time, as Pinoys, we still believe that creatures from our folklore exist. It was a question of all of the stories about them were based in the province.
Yes, definitely.
So the question was, if people moved to the city, did all of these creatures move with them? And admittedly, that was the same question Neil Gaiman
Yes.
posed in his novel American Gods. What happened to all of the old gods? And one of the wonderful things he revealed in American Gods is, since the gods did follow, all of the migrants, but since no one worshipped them, they started to set up jobs in America. So it was interesting to think that maybe all of these creatures of our nightmares have set up shop in the city, and we just don't know that the person we're talking to is already an aswang or a duende or an encanto.
It's nice that you mentioned Neil Gaiman, because one of the things he did was, through his Vertigo storyline, he created a tarot deck. Have you ever had any inspiration to create like an oracle deck for the Trese universe?
I wouldn't know where to start, but one of our good friends is actually Karen Kunovich. She used to write a column for several magazines and newspapers, but she was the one who actually introduced us to the tarot. So I don't know if one of these days maybe Kajo and Karen would want to collaborate, but it would be great. I know that on Facebook, one of our readers started to suggest already, who could be which one in the major arcana. So we haven't really given it much thought, but it would be great to make one.
You see, this story series brought to Earth a lot of the old, like you said, like American Gods. It brought to awareness a lot of the old existing spirits throughout the country. And with that coming about, I wanted to ask if there were any strange coincidences that were trying to prevent you from releasing any of these stories while you created them, or was it just a free ride from the beginning?
When we started it, it was free flowing. It was a challenge thrown to me by Kajo. A little background is that me and Kajo work for ad agencies, and as you might know, working in an ad agency means it's 9 to 5. It's 9 a.m. to 5 a.m. the next day.
Yeah, I can imagine.
So when Kajo said, "Hey, let's make a comic book," because I've known Kajo for several years, we've done one or two projects, and it just never really flew. So when he said, "Budge, let's do a comic book. I want to make a monthly comic book," I said, "That's crazy. We'll never be able to finish a comic book with our schedules." And he said, "No, I promise you, if you can give me a script, every 20 days I will finish. In 20 days I will finish the comic book." So I said, "Fine, I'll give it a try." So what happened was, month after month after month, we had miraculously been finishing the comic book. I think the only time, and it was not supernatural, the only time we ended up not getting work done was when more work came in. But yes, thankfully, so far, nothing had no gremlins or no duende has come
no
into
astral opposition.
Yes, has come in to say, stop doing this.
All right, let's say from the top of your head, if you can have Trese appear in one comic as a cameo or as a team up.
Oh my goodness.
Who would it be?
It would be Batman.
Batman.
Batman, it would be Batman. It would be a team up of Batman, John Constantine, and Hellboy.
Oh wow. Batman, Constantine, and Hellboy. Hellboy would probably hit on Trese, no?
John Constantine.
John Constantine as well. You mentioned Constantine. It was an inspiration. What did you think of the series that came out?
It was a very nice attempt, but too bad it got canceled. I wasn't too hot about the actor that they picked. I mean, I can imagine some other actors. I mean, for me, a younger Jude Law might have been appropriate, but of course he's older and more expensive now. But yeah, it was an interesting attempt at introducing the Constantine universe. I guess that's being an American TV show, they had to set it in America. I guess that's a limitation, so you lose out on all of the. It's just, I mean, if you watch Sherlock, you know, it being set in London just changes
Exactly.
the feel of it all. So it would be great if they ever bring it back. Maybe they can, I don't know, maybe you can like jump from city to city.
That would be actually nice. Okay, 10 years down the line, and a big movie producer wants to buy the rights for Trese. Who do you cast as
Oh
Trese?
my. Oh. Well, I've always said that it would be great to find an unknown actress to portray her and maybe and all of the villains will be portrayed by popular actors. But lately, like, for example, and I cannot remember her name, but the Japanese girl in Pacific Rim.
Okay, yeah.
There was a great shot of her in a black trench coat with an umbrella. I thought, you know, she might make for a perfect Trese, although, you know, she looks very Japanese. For local actresses, I thought that the younger Alessandra De Rossi fit the bill. But so right now, I haven't really seen anyone that would fit the bill. So I still think it would be great to get an unknown, so that when you watch the movie, you're not saying, oh, it's, you know, you're seeing the actress and not seeing the character.
You've heard it yourself. When we're gonna cast for that, chick from Pacific Rim it is. All right, so I got some questions here from my producer. We want to answer from you.
Okay.
It's actually, what would Budjette do? All right, let's just have some fun with this. All right, let's say you're walking along BCG and you run into an aswang. What would you do?
I would run.
You'd run.
I'd run, or I don't know, throw salt if I had salt.
All right, that's a good one. I'll take that. All right, B. You were at home reading a book and a white lady passes by asking for directions to Bloody Mary's house. What would you do?
I would interview her first so I can get notes for the next book.
All right, which there will be a next book.
Yes.
So everyone, stay tuned for that one. Okay, see. If a nuno stops you during your commute and asks for chocolate,
I would give him a Kit Kat because that's our client. So
right.
that will endorse,
Perfect. Brought to you by Kit Kat.
Right,
Everyone,
right.
So
I'm sure
the next
that
episode will also have Kit Kat in it as well. All right.
I would like that better.
If a tikbalang offers you a ride.
Oh, tricky. As long as I get, I guess, one hair from its mane so that I can get 3 wishes from it.
That's a good trade-off, if you ask me. All right. If you had your own kambal bodyguards, now who would you choose? How would they look like?
Of course, they need to kick ass. What do you mean by who would I choose?
Well, they are your bodyguards.
Right.
You can probably describe them in any way. What would they look like?
I still think it was, well, an interesting side note. It was my brother who pointed out to me that the personalities of the Kambal was actually based, I had subconsciously based them on me and my brother.
Okay.
So, you know, I'm usually the gloomy one and he's usually the happy, joyful one. So I guess it would be the more fit, taller version of me and my brother.
All right. So you heard it. And lastly, if you were one of Alexandra Trese's siblings, what would you do?
I would take over the Diabolical and make it an open bar for everyone.
Sayang, you know, I wish there was actually a club like that. I mean, you'd see me hanging out there. Like, so to wrap it up, what's next for Trese? What do we have to look forward to?
We are working on book 7, of course. There are 6 books out now. We have, one of the things we have done is we've spun off, we've created a book called The Ascaleros, which is based on the segment. There are characters in the book which are shapeshift, they're weird dogs. So we've spun off a title just for them. And we're hoping to do one more version of Stories of the Diabolical. Stories of the Diabolical, of course, focuses on Hank, the bartender, and all of the things that happen in the bar. So those are hopefully things we can get done soon.
So straight from the creator's mouth, Trese, get your copy now, available nationwide and national, fully booked, wherever you can go, worth every single penny you spend on it. Believe it or not, you don't even need to read Filipino, that's what I love about it. The stories are in English. Trese, available nationwide. Budjette Tan, the creator, thank you very much, sir. It was an honor.